Welcome to Dead Man Talking. Tonight's story is a series, and this is part 1 of the story entitled Monster Hunting, Episode 1. Let's get straight into that. I have been in these hunts. Some of these stories I might not be in. I just came back after a trip to hunt the otter man. Broke my orbital bone, and some of my friends are in ER. We are going to be in hiatus for a while. I was just somewhere in my high school year that some of my friends and I decided to see each other in a trek or hunting trip in his parents' property. I agreed. I met up with my friends Al, Norman, Lucy and Melanie, since they are the ones who are near my block. We went to his place hours before the event. We found out that we are going to have a huge ass trip because he invited at least 40 or 50 people to come with him. Luckily, some of them were acquaintances. We went there and saw lots of preparations for camping. He had a lot of supplies, but we would also need the traps for our safety. We found out that we also have to fetch a bunch of people and get more supplies. So, I joined Al and Norman and rode this pickup truck to go to the weapons store. We were given a piece of paper. It was the pre-ordered supplies and weapons. I then found out that why we brought the 2 pickup trucks. That was a huge order of guns, knives, traps and weapons. We literally had to call for backup to carry the amount of objects we were bringing. It took us about 30 minutes to finish the task. We then had the other task of fetching a bunch of other people. Damn, I said no wonder the order was so big. Our camping group is now estimated 100, possibly 115 members. So, we went back to the location where we were going to meet up. As we came back, I could smell barbecue and other foods being cooked. We saw that our group was huge, and there was like a bunch of huge RVs, pickups, trailers and motorcycles. We then went and got a table near our friend who was hosting the camping event. Morty was his name. He then told us the event would take place in a place where there's family and there's a farm and it's still connected. But also said that the place is the border area where the strange activities have been known to take place. He even giggled about doing a monster hunt. That phrase gave a chill down my spine. It was somewhat 5:30 p.m. when we were served a huge platter of ribs, chicken, pork chops and some side like fries and potato wedges. We ate heavily. Then the time was 7 o'clock. We were told to get ready and take off, and so we all rushed to get into the vehicles. Motorcycles were in first row, followed by buggies, then the pickups, then after that it was a huge jumble of vehicles. I sat in the back of a huge pickup truck with Melanie, Lance, Abby and Chris. We were in the near back row. In the side we had a bunch of guys riding motorcycles who had cameras on the side of their helmets. After an hour, the trail was starting to look underdeveloped and was already a dirt road. While the others were chatting, I saw a pile of weapons and traps. Then I got bored. So I took out my cell phone and went to turn on my camera filter into infrared. I just used it to survey the forest parts in my right. I spotted some foxes and deer, and then all of a sudden, I spotted this huge figure that was crouching. It looked like a huge ape, and it was just somewhat 15 to 20 meters between it and I. It just stood there, and after a while, it just disappeared. I was just frozen, just seeing through seeing it through the infrared camera gave me the chills. I decided to just try and get some rest. I laid down and went off to sleep. Then, somewhere between 9:35 p.m, all the vehicles stopped. I bumped my head and all the guys were looking at each other. Chris was holding a shotgun while Lance was holding an assault rifle. We had a radio transmission from the back of the pickup. The driver said that a bunch of motorcycle guys in front had a whole tree thrown at them and spotted a huge figure. They said it looked like a human but was too big to be a normal person. They said that it looked at them, it had red eyes, and then just disappeared all of a sudden. It left the most foul odour. We heard a loud roar. We all got back up and looked to take our weapons into hand. Chris had his shotgun. Lance was aiming everywhere with his assault rifle. All the guys on the side with motorcycles, ATVs and UTVs were holding all their respective guns. There was silence. Then I got the infrared camera and I was shocked to see 3 figures crouching. And then there it was. Gunshots from everywhere as bullets were flying around. Then, through the camera, I saw the 3 figures trying to shield themselves, but all 3 were badly hurt and then limped off. The fight took 5 minutes, and then we all went back to go into our sites. It was already 11 p.m. When we got there, everything was set, so all we had to go and do was get into our respective shelters. This is end of part 1 and story 1. I will update you soon as possible. Wow, hope you guys enjoyed that. As I say, it's part 1. I've already read through part 2 and it gets a lot more intense. Please do tune in for part 2. Remember guys, please do like, share, comment, and as ever, be safe, not sorry.